The nurse's smile was the kind you give to people you pity. "Your wife should be here soon, Mr. Garrett," she said, adjusting my IV drip. I wanted to laugh. Instead, I just nodded and watched her leave, her sneakers squeaking on the linoleum floor. My phone buzzed on the rolling table beside the hospital bed. Another Instagram notification. I grabbed it with my good hand, the one that wasn't wrapped in bandages from wrist to fingertips. There she was. Lily, my wife of 6 years. Posted 43 minutes ago. A photo of her at some rooftop bar downtown, cocktail in hand, hair perfect, smile radiant. The caption read, "Living my best life. Just self-care, no apologies." I'd been in surgery 3 hours ago. The accident wasn't my fault. Some kid ran a red light, T-boned my truck at the intersection near the old textile mill. The doctor said I was lucky. Broken hand, 3 cracked ribs, concussion. Could have been worse. But lying there in that sterile room, staring at my wife's Instagram story while morphine dripped into my veins, I didn't feel particularly lucky. Ben, the janitor, an older guy named Pete, who I'd chatted with during my last visit here for a kidney stone, poked his head in. "Heard you got banged up pretty good." "Yeah, Pete. Some punk kid decided stop signs were optional." He wheeled his cart closer, lowering his voice. "Your missus know you're here?" I held up my phone, showing him Lily's latest post. Pete squinted at it, then at me, then back at the screen. "That's from tonight?" Posted while I was getting pins in my hand. Pete whistled low. "Brother, I don't know what to tell you." "You don't have to tell me anything, Pete. I can read the writing on the wall." He patted my shoulder and left. I scrolled through Lily's Instagram. 23 new posts in the last 2 days. Brunch with her friends at that overpriced place on Riverside. Shopping bags from stores we definitely couldn't afford. Videos of her dancing at clubs I'd never heard of. And in half of them, there he was, lurking in the background, sometimes front and center. Trevor fucking Morrison. Local real estate agent, self-proclaimed luxury lifestyle expert, and walking advertisement for hair gel and spray tans. His own Instagram was a monument to douchebaggery, shirtless gym selfies, photos of his Mercedes, screenshots of his biggest sales, with the client names poorly blurred out. I'd met Trevor once at some charity thing Lily dragged me to. He'd given me the kind of handshake that was trying too hard, asked what I did for work, and visibly lost interest when I said construction supervisor. Lily had laughed at all his jokes that night. I should have known then. My phone buzzed. A text from my buddy Jake. "Dude, you okay? Heard about the accident?" I typed back with my thumb. "Alive. In City General. Lily's busy." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally, "Want me to come by?" "Nah, get some rest. I'll be out. Tomorrow. Probably." Another buzz. This time from my boss, Gary. "Take the week. We got it covered. Heal up." Good guy, Gary. Been working for him for 8 years, ever since I dropped out of community college to help pay Lily's nursing school tuition. She'd promised we'd be a team, that once she graduated and got her RN job at the hospital, we'd be set. And we were, for about 6 months. Then she discovered Instagram, got a taste of the attention, and decided being a nurse wasn't glamorous enough. She still worked at the hospital, but now she spent more time taking selfies in the break room than actually helping patients. I closed my eyes, trying to sleep, but my mind wouldn't shut off. The crash kept replaying, the sound of metal crunching, the airbag exploding in my face, the kid who hit me stumbling out of his Honda, apologizing over and over. And through it all, one thought. I need to call Lily. I'd tried, 4 times from the ambulance, twice from the ER. Straight to voicemail every time. She'd posted on Instagram an hour after the accident. She had her phone. She just wasn't answering my calls. The morphine finally dragged me under around midnight. I dreamed of drowning. Morning came with fluorescent lights and the smell of hospital breakfast. A different nurse, younger, chattier, brought me eggs that tasted like cardboard and coffee that tasted like regret. "Your wife called the front desk," she said cheerfully. "She'll be here this afternoon." "Did she say why she couldn't make it this morning?" The nurse's smile faltered. She mentioned something about work?" Lily didn't work Thursdays. I knew her schedule better than she did. "Sure," I said. "Work." The nurse left quickly. I ate the terrible eggs and scrolled through my phone. Jake had texted again. "Bro, check Lily's Instagram." I didn't want to, but I did anyway. New post from 2 hours ago. A photo of Lily and her best friend Ava at some trendy breakfast place, both holding mimosas. The caption, "Brunch therapy with my queen. Some of us know how to prioritize self-care." Prioritize self-care. While her husband was in the hospital, I screenshot it. Don't know why. Maybe I was collecting evidence. Maybe I just wanted proof I wasn't crazy. Ava Morrison. She'd changed her name. Some influencer rebrand thing. Ava Morrison, professional best friend and lifestyle guru. 28,000 Instagram followers. Sponsored posts for teeth whitening kits and detox teas. She'd been Lily's friend since nursing school, and I'd never liked her. Too fake, too calculated. Everything was content for her. Everything was a photo op. My phone rang. Unknown number. "Mr. Garrett, this is Officer Davidson from the Traffic Division. Just wanted to follow up on yesterday's accident." We talked for 10 minutes. The kid who hit me was uninsured, of course. My truck was totaled. Insurance would cover most of it, but I'd still be out the deductible. The officer was sympathetic but firm. These things take time. Expect a lot of paperwork. After I hung up, I called Lily. Voicemail again. I left a message. "Hey, it's me. Still at the hospital. Truck's totaled. Could really use you here. Call me back." She didn't. Lily finally showed up at 4 in the afternoon, wearing sunglasses indoors and carrying a Starbucks cup. She looked perfect, hairstyled, makeup flawless, outfit straight out of a magazine. She looked like she was stopping by the hospital on her way to somewhere more important. "Oh my God, Ben, I'm so sorry," she said, but she didn't take off the sunglasses. "I just heard about the accident. I called you 12 times. My phone died. You know how bad the battery is. You posted on Instagram 6 times since the accident." She stiffened. "Are you seriously going to start a fight right now, while you're in the hospital?" "I'm not starting anything. I'm just pointing out that you had time to post brunch photos, but not to check on your husband. I didn't know it was serious. Your voicemails didn't say, 'because you didn't listen to them.'" A nurse walked by, pretending not to hear us. Lily lowered her voice, finally taking off the sunglasses. Her eyes were clear, no sign of crying. "Look, I'm here now, okay? What do you need?" What did I need? I needed a wife who gave a damn. I needed to not be married to someone who valued Instagram likes more than her marriage vows. I needed to rewind 6 years and tell my younger self to run. "Nothing," I said. "I'm getting discharged tomorrow morning. I'll get a ride from Jake." "Don't be like that." "Like what?" "All passive-aggressive. It's not attractive." Not attractive. I'd been hit by a car, and she was worried about me being attractive. "Who's Trevor?" I asked. Her face went blank for just a second, long enough for me to know I'd hit something. "What?" "Trevor Morrison. He's in a lot of your recent photos." "He's just a friend. We met at a networking thing for Ava." You've been spending a lot of time with him. Oh my God! Are you jealous? Seriously? She laughed, actually laughed. Trevor is gay, Ben. He's completely harmless. Trevor wasn't gay. I'd seen his Instagram. I'd seen the way he looked at women in his photos, the comments he left on their posts. But I didn't argue. Not yet. Fine, I said. She stayed for 20 more minutes, mostly scrolling through her phone, occasionally making sympathetic noises. When she left, she kissed my forehead like I was a child and told me to rest up. I waited until she was gone, then opened my banking app. Our joint checking account had been at $4,200 last week. Now it was at $900. I checked the transaction history. 3 charges at high-end restaurants, 2 at boutique clothing stores, 1 at a luxury hotel downtown, the Riverside Grand, $460 for one night. Lily and I hadn't stayed at a hotel together in 3 years. I called the bank. The hotel charge was from last weekend, Saturday night. Lily had told me she was at a nursing conference in Boston. Sir, I can see the charge was made in person at the hotel. The bank rep said. Is there a problem? No problem, I said. Just checking. I hung up and stared at the ceiling. The pieces were coming together, forming a picture I didn't want to see, but I couldn't look away. My wife was cheating on me, and she was using our money to do it. Jake picked me up Friday morning in his beat-up Ford. Good guy, Jake. We'd worked together for 5 years, and he'd never once asked me for anything he wasn't willing to give back. He took one look at my face and said, "You look like hell." Feel worse. Lily still being Lily? Yeah. He didn't push it, just drove me home to our apartment on the east side of town. The building was one of those converted mill places. Exposed brick, high ceilings, industrial chic, according to the realtor. We'd stretched our budget to afford it because Lily wanted the aesthetic for her Instagram. Never mind that the heating barely worked and the elevator broke twice a month. You need anything? Jake asked as I climbed out, my ribs screaming with every movement. Nah, I'm good. Thanks for the ride. Ben. He leaned over, serious now. Whatever's going on with you two, don't do anything stupid, okay? Define stupid. You know what I mean. Keep your head on straight. I promised I would, even though I had no idea if I could keep that promise. The apartment was empty. Lily had left a note on the kitchen counter. Out with Ava. Back later. Hope you're feeling better. I crumpled it up and threw it in the trash. The place was a mess. Lily's mess. Clothes everywhere, makeup scattered across the bathroom counter, dishes piled in the sink. This wasn't new. I'd been cleaning up after her for years, telling myself it was no big deal, that everyone had their flaws. But standing there, ribs aching, hand throbbing, looking at the disaster she'd left behind, something in me snapped. I opened my laptop and logged into our bank account. Started going through every transaction from the past 3 months. The pattern was clear once you knew to look for it. Every weekend, sometimes twice a week, charges at expensive restaurants, hotel rooms, Uber rides to parts of town Lily had no business being in. And then I found it. A Venmo transaction from Lily to Trevor Morrison. $500. The note said, "For the weekend." What weekend? Which weekend had my wife given her friend $500 for? I checked Trevor's Instagram again. 3 weeks ago, he'd posted photos from a weekend trip to Newport. Yacht shots, beach photos, sunset dinners. And there, in the background of one photo, barely visible but unmistakable, Lily's distinctive rose gold phone case. She'd been with him. She'd lied about the nursing conference, used our money to fund a romantic weekend with another man, and then came home and kissed me like nothing had happened. My phone buzzed. A text from Lily. Having lunch at Riverside Bistro with the girls. Might be late. Don't wait up for dinner. Riverside Bistro. $40 entrees. $15 cocktails. I checked our bank account again. The balance was down to $600. Something cold settled in my chest. Not anger, exactly. Something calmer, more focused. I'd been the good husband for 6 years, worked overtime to pay for her school, cleaned the apartment, cooked the dinners, made the compromises. And this was what I got in return. I texted back, "Have fun." Then I called Coach Murphy at the gym. "Ben, heard about your accident, man. You okay?" "Been better. Listen, I know I'm supposed to be out for a couple weeks, but I need to come in." "Your ribs are cracked, brother. You need rest." "I need to hit something." Murphy was quiet for a moment. "This about Lily?" Everyone knew. Of course everyone knew. Small city, smaller social circles. Lily's Instagram had 20,000 followers, most of them local. Her affair was probably the worst-kept secret in town. "Yeah," I said. "Come in Monday. We'll work around the injuries. But Ben, whatever you're thinking, be smart about it." "That's the second time today someone's told me that." "Then maybe you should listen." I hung up and opened Lily's Instagram on my laptop. Started scrolling, really looking this time. The clues were everywhere. Trevor in the background of her photos. Trevor's comments on her posts. Always just a little too familiar, a little too flirty. Ava's comments, too, encouraging it, hyping it up. And then I saw something that made my blood run cold. A photo from 4 months ago. Lily at a party, smiling at the camera. And in the background, clearly visible, Ava and Trevor, heads close together, looking at something on Ava's phone. Both of them watching Lily with expressions I couldn't quite read. I zoomed in, studied their faces. There was something calculated there, something planned. A conspiracy theory started forming in my head, too crazy to be real. But I screenshot the photo anyway, added it to the folder I was building. My phone rang. Unknown number again. "Mr. Garrett, this is Detective Sarah Mitchell from the Fraud Division. Do you have a few minutes to talk?" My stomach dropped. "Fraud Division? It's regarding some unusual activity on your credit cards. We've been trying to reach your wife, but she hasn't responded to our calls." "What kind of unusual activity?" "Several large purchases over the past 2 months. Jewelry, electronics, cash advances. Total of about $15,000? Does any of this sound familiar?" $15,000. On credit cards I didn't even know we had. "No," I said. "None of this is familiar." "I see. Well, Mr. Garrett, I'm afraid we need to schedule a time for you and your wife to come in and discuss this. The charges were made using cards in both your names and—" "I'll be there Monday," I said. "What time?" We scheduled an appointment. After I hung up, I just sat there, staring at my laptop screen, trying to process what was happening. My wife wasn't just cheating on me. She was destroying us financially, and somehow I was pretty sure Ava was involved. I needed proof. Real proof. The kind that would hold up when everything fell apart. I spent the rest of the day documenting everything. Screenshots of Instagram posts, bank statements, credit card records. I created a timeline cross-referencing Lily's posts with our financial transactions. Every lie, every hotel room, every expensive dinner, I tracked it all. By the time Lily came home at 10 p.m., smelling like wine and expensive perfume, I had a file folder 3 inches thick. "Hey, babe," she said, dropping her purse on the couch. "How are you feeling?" "Fine." "You sure? You look tense." "Just tired." She kissed my cheek, and I let her. She tasted like lies. "I'm exhausted," she said. "Going to bed. You coming?" "In a bit." After she went to the bedroom, I sat in the dark living room and made a decision. I wasn't going to confront her yet. I wasn't going to yell or beg or try to fix this. I was going to do something else entirely. I was going to become the villain she was making me out to be. Monday morning, I dragged myself to Murphy's MMA gym on the south side. The place was a dump, cracked mirrors, worn mats, equipment held together with duct tape and prayer. But it was real, in a way nothing else in my life was anymore. Murphy took one look at me and shook his head. "You look worse than Friday." "Didn't sleep much." "Let me guess. She came home late, smelling like someone else's cologne." "How do you know?" "Brother, I've been divorced 3 times. I know the signs." He handed me wraps for my good hand. "We're not sparring today, just bag work, light stuff, and you're going to tell me what's really going on." So I did. While I hit the heavy bag with my one good hand, ribs screaming, I told him everything. The accident, the Instagram posts, the hotel charges, the $15,000 in credit card debt, Trevor Morrison and his fake charity and his stupid Mercedes, Ava and her constant presence, always there, always encouraging Lily's worst impulses. Murphy listened without interrupting. When I finished, he was quiet for a long moment. "You want revenge," he finally said. "I want justice." "Same thing, different packaging." He held the bag steady. "Here's what you need to understand, Ben. Revenge isn't about hurting them. It's about making them face consequences. Real consequences. The kind that stick." "I'm listening." "You can't touch them physically. That's assault. You can't destroy their property. That's vandalism. You can't steal from them or frame them or do anything illegal. Because the moment you break the law, you lose. You become the bad guy and they get to play victim." "So, what can I do?" Murphy grinned. "You can expose them. You can tell the truth, loud and clear, where everyone can hear it. You can take back control of the narrative, and you can make damn sure they face the natural consequences of their actions." "How?" "Social media, brother. They live online. That's where you fight them. But you gotta be smart. No lies, no exaggerations. Just the truth, documented and undeniable." I stopped hitting the bag. "You're saying I should blast them on Instagram?" "I'm saying you should let people see who they really are. Lily wants to be an influencer? Let her influence. But let her do it with the truth attached to her name." It was risky. It was public. It would destroy any chance of reconciliation. But looking at Murphy's scarred knuckles and honest eyes, I realized I didn't want reconciliation. I wanted accountability. "I need to gather more evidence first," I said. "Then gather it. But Ben, when you're ready to pull the trigger, make sure you're all in, because once you start, there's no going back." I spent the next week living a double life. During the day, I went to work, supervised construction crews, acted normal. At night, I documented everything. I hired a private investigator, a woman named Rachel, who came recommended by Murphy. She wasn't cheap, but she was thorough. Within 3 days, she had photos of Lily and Trevor together. Not just background Instagram shots, real photos. Trevor's hand on Lily's lower back. Lily kissing Trevor's cheek outside a restaurant. The 2 of them entering the Riverside Grand together on a Tuesday afternoon. "Your wife's not very careful," Rachel said, handing me the folder. "Neither's he. They act like they're invisible." "They think they are," I said. "In their world, I don't matter enough to notice. That's going to bite them hard." I also went to the police station for my appointment with Detective Mitchell. She was younger than I expected, sharp-eyed and no nonsense. "Mr. Garrett, I appreciate you coming in. Has your wife had a chance to review these charges?" "I haven't shown them to her yet." Mitchell raised an eyebrow. "Why not?" "Because I'm trying to figure out what's happening before I confront her." "I see." She slid a paper across the desk. These are the fraudulent charges. They were made on 3 credit cards opened in both your names. The applications were submitted online, using your information. I didn't open these cards. I believe you. The IP addresses trace back to your home, but the spending pattern suggests someone else was using them. Do you know who might have access to your personal information? My wife, and probably her best friend, Ava Morrison. Ava's been at our apartment a lot lately. Mitchell made a note. We'll need to interview both of them. In the meantime, I'd recommend freezing your credit and changing all your passwords. Already done. Good. Mr. Garrett, I have to ask. Are you planning to press charges? I thought about it. Pressing charges meant police involvement, lawyers, court dates. It meant making this official and irreversible. Not yet, I said, but I reserve the right to change my mind. Thursday night, Lily announced she was going to a influencer networking event at some downtown club. She spent 2 hours getting ready, trying on 6 different outfits, taking dozens of selfies. You look great, I said, because that's what she wanted to hear. You think? I feel like this dress makes me look bloated. You look perfect. She beamed, kissed my cheek, and left. I waited 30 minutes, then checked her Instagram story. She'd posted a video from the club, loud music, flashing lights, her and Ava dancing, and there, in the background, clear as day, Trevor Morrison watching them with a predatory smile. I grabbed my jacket and called Jake. I need a favor. Name it. Drive me downtown. I need to see something. Jake didn't ask questions, just picked me up 20 minutes later. We parked across from the club, a trendy place called Apex with a line out the door and a bouncer checking IDs. What are we doing? Jake asked. Observing. We sat there for an hour. I watched through the club's windows as Lily danced with Trevor, as Ava took photos of them, as my wife laughed and touched another man's arm and lived her best life. You okay? Jake asked quietly. Yeah, I just needed to see it with my own eyes. You want to go in there? Confront them? No, not yet. This isn't the right moment. When's the right moment? When I have an audience. Jake looked at me, concerned. Ben, what are you planning? Something they'll never forget. We drove home in silence. When Jake dropped me off, he grabbed my arm. Be smart, he said. I'm done being smart, I told him. Smart is what got me here. The opportunity came 2 weeks later. Lily's friend group was organizing a big charity brunch at Riverside Bistro, the kind of event that was really just an excuse for Instagram content. Mimosas for a cause, they called it. All proceeds going to some vague children's charity that probably didn't exist. Lily had been talking about it for days, planning her outfit, coordinating with Ava about their posts. It was going to be their biggest event yet, with local influencers and even a news crew from the morning show. Perfect. I'd spent the 2 weeks since the club gathering everything I needed. Rachel had provided more photos, Lily and Trevor at restaurants, hotels, even shopping together for jewelry. I had bank statements showing every fraudulent charge. I had screenshots of text messages. Lily kept forgetting to lock her phone. I had everything. The night before the brunch, I barely slept. Lily was beside me, snoring softly, completely unaware that her world was about to implode. Part of me felt guilty. We'd been together for 6 years. We'd made promises. But then I remembered the hospital, remembered her laughing with Trevor while I was getting pins in my hand, and the guilt evaporated. Sunday morning. Lily left early to help set up, which meant take photos before the event got crowded. I waited until 10 a.m. when the brunch was in full swing, then got dressed in my best shirt and jeans. Jake had agreed to drive me again. You sure about this? He asked as we pulled up outside the restaurant. Positive. It's going to get ugly. It already is ugly. I'm just making it visible. The restaurant's outdoor patio was packed with people, mostly women in their 20s and 30s, all dressed like they were going to a fashion show. Mimosas flowed freely. A photographer moved through the crowd, taking professional shots. The local news crew was set up in the corner, interviewing Ava about the charity. I spotted Lily immediately. She was at a table near the center, surrounded by her friends, laughing at something on her phone. Trevor sat beside her, his arm casually draped over the back of her chair. I walked straight toward them. One of Lily's friends saw me first. Her smile faltered. She nudged the woman next to her, who nudged another. A ripple of awareness spread through the group. Lily looked up. Her face went white. Ben, what are you doing here? I came to support your charity event, I said loudly. Isn't that what husbands do? The conversations around us died. People were staring now, phones coming out, sensing drama. This isn't a good time, Lily said, her voice tight. Really? Because I think it's a perfect time. I pulled out my phone, opened the folder of screenshots. I wanted to show everyone the amazing work you've been doing. For charity. Ben, don't. For instance, this hotel charge, $460 at the Riverside Grand. That was a charity event, right? Trevor stood up. Hey, man, I think you should leave. I don't think I was talking to you, Trevor. I turned to the crowd, which had grown larger. Everyone, this is Trevor Morrison, local realtor, luxury lifestyle expert, and the man my wife has been sleeping with for the past 4 months. Gasps. Phones raised higher, recording now. That's not true, Lily shouted, standing. He's lying. He's been paranoid and controlling and… Here's a photo of you two kissing outside Carmelo's restaurant, I said, holding up my phone. Here's another of you entering a hotel together. Here's a Venmo transaction where you sent him $500 for a weekend trip to Newport. The crowd murmured. I saw the news crew turning their camera toward us. Lily's face was red now. You had me followed? You're insane. I'm insane? You opened 3 credit cards in my name and racked up $15,000 in debt. The police are investigating it as fraud. That got everyone's attention. Even Ava, who'd been standing at the edge of the crowd, looked shocked. You're making this up, Lily said, but her voice wavered. Am I? Detective Sarah Mitchell, Fraud Division, you can call her yourself. She's been trying to reach you for 2 weeks. Trevor stepped forward, trying to salvage the situation. Look, everyone, this is clearly a domestic issue. Let's talk about your charity work, Trevor, I said, turning to him. The Morrison Foundation for At-Risk Youth. Sounds impressive. Except it doesn't exist. I checked with the state. No registered nonprofit by that name. But you've been collecting donations for it for 6 months. Where's that money going?Trevor's face went from tan to pale in seconds. We're still in the registration process. You're a fraud, and you. I turned back to Lily. You've been using our marriage as a backdrop for your Instagram fantasy while destroying our finances and sleeping with this con artist. So yeah, I came to your charity brunch. I came to tell everyone the truth. Lily's eyes filled with tears. The calculated, kind. The ones she used when she wanted sympathy. How could you do this to me? In front of all these people? How could you do this to me? In a hospital room? While I was getting surgery? The crowd was silent now, hanging on every word. I saw phones everywhere, recording, streaming, posting. This was going viral in real time. You want to be an influencer? I said to Lily. Congratulations. You're about to be famous. I turned and walked out. Behind me, chaos erupted, shouting, crying, the news crew trying to get statements. I didn't look back. Jake was waiting by the car. Holy shit, dude. Drive. As we pulled away, my phone started buzzing. Texts, calls, notifications. I ignored them all. That was nuclear, Jake said. Yeah. You okay? I thought about it. My marriage was over. My wife hated me. I'd just publicly destroyed her reputation and exposed her affair in front of half the city's social media scene. Yeah, I said. I'm okay. The video went viral within hours. Multiple people had filmed my confrontation with Lily, and by Sunday evening, it was all over social media. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Everyone was sharing it, commenting on it, dissecting every word. Husband exposes cheating wife at charity brunch was trending locally. I didn't watch the videos. I didn't need to. I'd lived it. What I did do was change the locks on our apartment. Lily had been staying at Ava's place for the past week anyway, claiming she needed space to think. Now she could have all the space she wanted. Monday morning, I woke up to 53 text messages. Most were from people I barely knew, offering support or asking for details. 3 were from Lily, escalating from apologetic to angry to threatening. The last one read, "You've destroyed everything. I hope you're happy. My lawyer will be in touch." Good. Let the lawyers come. I had documentation for everything. I also had a message from Detective Mitchell. Saw the video. Need to speak with you and your wife ASAP. Please call. And one from Murphy. You crazy bastard. Come to the gym. We need to talk. I went to the gym first. Murphy was waiting with coffee and a knowing look. You made quite a scene, he said. Had to be done. The video's everywhere. Lily's losing followers by the thousands. Trevor's real estate company put out a statement distancing themselves from him. And Ava... He paused. Ava's been really quiet. What do you mean? She hasn't posted anything since yesterday. No defense of Lily, no comments on the situation, nothing. That strike you as weird? It did. Ava was usually the first to jump into any drama, always ready with a supportive comment or a strategic post. Her silence was deafening. You think she's involved somehow? I asked. I think Ava's always involved. That woman doesn't do anything that doesn't benefit her. I thought about the photo I'd seen weeks ago, Ava and Trevor, heads together watching Lily. The calculated expressions. I need to look into something, I said. I spent Monday afternoon digging into Ava's background. It wasn't hard. She'd been documenting her entire life online for years. Ava Morrison, 28 years old, nursing school dropout, professional influencer for the past 3 years. Before that, she'd worked at a medical billing company called HealthBridge Solutions. I knew that company. I'd worked on their office renovation 4 years ago, and I'd been the one who reported an employee for embezzling insurance payments. The pieces clicked into place with sickening clarity. I called Rachel, my private investigator. I need you to look into someone, Ava Morrison, formerly Ava Chen, specifically her connection to HealthBridge Solutions about 4 years ago. What am I looking for? Embezzlement charges, criminal record, anything that connects her to me. Rachel called back 3 hours later. Ben, you need to sit down for this. I'm sitting. Ava Chen was arrested 4 years ago for embezzling $70,000 from HealthBridge Solutions. The charges were eventually dropped due to lack of evidence, but she was fired. The person who reported her? Anonymous tip from a construction worker who overheard her bragging about it. That was me. I figured. Ben, this changes everything. If Ava knew you were the one who got her fired, she'd want revenge. Exactly. And what better revenge than destroying your marriage and your finances? I sat there, phone pressed to my ear, as the full scope of what had happened became clear. Ava had orchestrated everything. She'd befriended Lily in nursing school, stayed close, waited for the perfect opportunity. Then, she'd introduced Lily to Trevor, encouraged the affair, pushed Lily toward more and more reckless behavior. The credit cards, the spending, the Instagram posts, all of it designed to destroy me while making Lily look like the villain. "There's more," Rachel said. "I did some digging into Trevor Morrison. His real estate license was suspended 6 months ago for fraudulent practices. He's been operating illegally, using fake credentials. And guess who helped him create those fake credentials? Ava. Ava. They've been working together. Trevor gets access to wealthy clients through his fake real estate business. Ava gets content and connections through her influencer network, and they both get to ruin you as a bonus." Jesus Christ. "What do you want to do with this information?" I thought about it. I could go to the police, let them handle it. I could confront Ava directly. Or I could do what I did best, expose them publicly, let the court of public opinion deliver justice. "Send me everything you have," I said. "Every document, every photo, every connection. I'm going to need it." Tuesday afternoon, Lily showed up at the apartment with a police escort. She wanted to collect her things. "You changed the locks," she said accusingly. "You don't live here anymore. This is my apartment, too." The officer, a tired-looking guy in his 40s, held up a hand. "Ma'am, sir, let's keep this civil. Ms. Garrett, you have a right to collect your personal belongings. Mr. Garrett, you need to allow her access." I stepped aside. Lily pushed past me, her face hard. She spent an hour packing, throwing clothes and makeup into suitcases. I watched from the doorway, saying nothing. Finally, she turned to me. "You've destroyed my life." I told the truth. "You humiliated me in front of everyone. I've lost sponsors, followers, friends. The hospital is reviewing my employment status. All because you couldn't handle me having a life outside our marriage." "A life outside our marriage? Lily, you were stealing from me. You were committing fraud." "That wasn't me. That was—" She stopped, catching herself. "That was what? Who, Lily?" She looked away. "Nothing. Forget it." "Was it Ava?" Her eyes widened, just slightly. "What? No, Ava's my best friend. Ava got fired from Healthbridge 4 years ago for embezzlement. I'm the one who reported her. Did you know that?" Lily's face went pale. "You're lying." "Am I? Ask her. Ask her why she really became your friend. Ask her why she introduced you to Trevor. Ask her who opened those credit cards. You're just trying to turn me against her because you can't accept that I fell out of love with you. Did you fall out of love? Or did someone convince you that you had?" Lily grabbed her suitcases and stormed out. The officer followed, giving me a sympathetic look. After they left, I sat in the empty apartment and pulled up Ava's Instagram. She'd finally posted a long, carefully worded statement about supporting her friend through difficult times and not judging anyone's choices. The comments were brutal. People were calling her out, demanding she address her own role in the situation. A few had already dug up her connection to Healthbridge, posting about her embezzlement arrest. The internet was doing my work for me. My phone rang. Unknown number. "Ben Garrett?" "Speaking." "This is Channel 7 News. We'd like to interview you about the incident at Riverside Bistro. Would you be available for a segment tomorrow?" I thought about it. Going on TV meant making this even more public, more permanent. It meant no going back. "Yes," I said. "I'm available." The interview aired Wednesday evening. I'd spent the day at the news station being prepped and coached, but when the cameras rolled, I just told the truth. The interviewer, a sharp woman named Karen Walsh, didn't pull punches. "Mr. Garrett, you've been accused of publicly humiliating your wife. How do you respond to that?" I responded to being betrayed, lied to, and defrauded. The public nature of it was my wife's choice. She chose to live her life on social media. I just made sure the full story was visible. "You hired a private investigator?" After discovering $15,000 in fraudulent credit card charges, yes, I needed to know what was happening. And what did you find? I laid it out. The affair, the spending, Trevor's fake charity, and suspended real estate license. And then I dropped the bomb. I also discovered that my wife's best friend, Ava Morrison, was arrested for embezzlement 4 years ago. I was the person who reported her. I believe she's been orchestrating this entire situation as revenge. Karen's eyebrows shot up. That's a serious accusation. Do you have proof? I have documentation of her connection to Trevor Morrison, who she introduced to my wife. I have evidence that she had access to my personal information, which was used to open the fraudulent credit cards. And I have testimony from multiple people that she encouraged and facilitated my wife's affair. Why would she do this? Revenge. She blamed me for losing her job, and she spent 4 years planning how to destroy my life. The interview went on for 20 minutes. By the time it ended, I felt exhausted but clean, like I'd lanced a wound. The segment aired at 6 p.m. By 7, my phone was exploding again. Ava posted a furious response on Instagram. "These are lies and defamation. My lawyers will be taking action. I have never done anything to hurt Ben or Lily. This is a desperate man trying to deflect from his own abusive behavior." But the comments on her post were skeptical. People were digging, finding the old news articles about her arrest, connecting the dots. Lily posted too. "I'm heartbroken by all of this. I made mistakes, but I never intended to hurt anyone. I'm taking time to focus on my, mental health and figure out my next steps." Notably, she didn't defend Ava. Thursday morning, Detective Mitchell called me in for another meeting. "Mr. Garrett, we've been investigating the credit card fraud. Based on the evidence you provided and our own investigation, we believe Ava Morrison was the primary perpetrator. She had access to your personal information through her friendship with your wife, and she used it to open multiple credit cards in your name. Can you prove it?" "We're working on it." The IP addresses used to apply for the cards trace back to several locations, including Ms. Morrison's apartment. We've also found communications between her and Trevor Morrison discussing the fraud. What about Lily? Is she involved? Mitchell hesitated. Your wife appears to have been manipulated. She may have been aware of some of the spending, but we don't believe she knew about the fraud itself. However, she did benefit from it, which complicates things. So what happens now? We're building a case against Ava Morrison and Trevor Morrison for conspiracy to commit fraud. It'll take time, but we're confident we can make charges stick. And Lily? That's up to you. You could pursue charges for her role in the spending, or you could handle it through divorce proceedings. Divorce. The word hung in the air, heavy and final. I'll handle it through divorce, I said. Friday afternoon, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Ben? It was a woman's voice, shaky and tearful. Who is this? It's Lily. I almost hung up. But curiosity won. What do you want? I need to talk to you. In person. Please. I don't think that's a good idea. Please, Ben. I know I don't deserve it, but I need to explain. I need you to understand what happened. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet her at a coffee shop downtown. Neutral ground, public place. She looked terrible when she arrived. No makeup, hair in a messy ponytail, eyes red from crying. This wasn't the Instagram version of Lily. This was someone who'd been broken. Thank you for coming, she said, sitting down across from me. You have 10 minutes. I'm so sorry. For everything. I know that doesn't mean anything now. But I need you to know that I never meant for any of this to happen. Which part? The affair, the fraud, or the public humiliation? She flinched. All of it. Ben, I was so stupid. Ava, she got in my head. She made me feel like I was missing out, like I deserved more than what we had. She introduced me to Trevor, encouraged me to spend time with him. She said you were holding me back. And you believed her. I did. Because I wanted to. Because it was easier than admitting I was scared. Scared of what? Of being ordinary, of not mattering. I saw all these people online living these perfect lives, and I wanted that. I wanted to be special. So you destroyed our marriage. I destroyed everything. She wiped her eyes. The credit cards, I swear I didn't know about those. Ava said she was helping me build credit for a business venture. She had me sign some papers, said it was for an LLC. I didn't know she was using your information. You didn't ask questions? No. I trusted her. She was my best friend. She was using you to get revenge on me. Lily nodded miserably. I know that now. She told me yesterday. She called me, laughing, said she'd finally gotten even with you for ruining her life. She said I was just a tool, that she never actually cared about me. Jesus. I'm so sorry, Ben. I know I can't fix this. I know you'll never forgive me. But I needed you to know that I didn't understand what was happening until it was too late. I looked at this woman I'd loved for 6 years. Part of me wanted to believe her, to think she was just a victim in Ava's scheme. But another part, the part that had been humiliated and betrayed, couldn't let go. You made choices, Lily. Maybe Ava manipulated you, but you chose to have the affair. You chose to spend our money. You chose to post about your best life while I was in the hospital. Those were your choices. I know. So I'm sorry you got caught up in Ava's revenge plot. I really am. But that doesn't change what you did to me. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. I understand. I needed you to know the truth. Now I know. She stood up, hesitated. For what it's worth, I did love you. Maybe I still do, I just lost sight of what mattered. Goodbye, Lily. She walked out of the coffee shop, and I watched her go. Part of my anger went with her. Not all of it, but enough to breathe a little easier. The weekend was quiet. I spent Saturday at the gym, working out my frustration on the heavy bag. Murphy watched approvingly. You're getting stronger, he said, physically and otherwise. Doesn't feel like it. That's because you're in the middle of it. Trust me, brother, you're going to come out of this better than you went in. Sunday, I got a call from Rachel. Ben, you need to see this. Ava just posted something on Instagram. I pulled up her profile. She'd posted a long video, 10 minutes of her tearfully explaining her side of the story. She claimed I'd harassed her for years, that I'd stalked her after getting her fired, that I'd manipulated Lily against her. It was all lies, but it was convincing. She was good at this, at playing the victim. She's trying to get ahead of the charges, Rachel said. She knows the police are building a case, so she's creating a narrative where she's the victim. Will it work? With some people, maybe, but the evidence against her is solid. The police have her communications with Trevor, the IP addresses, everything. This is just noise. But noise could be damaging. I watched as Ava's video got thousands of views, hundreds of supportive comments. People were choosing sides, and some were choosing hers. I needed to end this, not with another public confrontation, but with something final and undeniable. Monday morning, I went to the police station and gave Detective Mitchell everything I had. Every document, every photo, every piece of evidence Rachel had gathered. This is comprehensive, Mitchell said, flipping through the files. With this, we can move forward with charges against both Ava Morrison and Trevor Morrison. How long will it take? A few weeks to get everything in order, then we'll make arrests. In the meantime, I'd recommend staying away from both of them. Don't engage, don't respond to their posts, Don't give them any ammunition. I agreed, but I had one more thing to do. Tuesday evening, I organized a meeting. Not a public confrontation this time, but something more controlled. I rented a small event space downtown and invited specific people. Lily's parents, my boss, Gary, Jake, Coach Murphy, and a few other friends who'd stuck by me. I also invited a lawyer, a family law attorney named Patricia Brooks, who'd agreed to help me with the divorce. And I invited the media. Just one reporter, Karen Walsh from Channel 7, who'd done the interview with me. Finally, I sent invitations to Lily, Ava, and Trevor. I didn't expect them to come, but I wanted to give them the chance. Only Lily showed up. She arrived looking nervous, flanked by her parents. Her mother gave me a cold look, but her father shook my hand. "Ben," he said quietly, "I'm sorry for what my daughter put you through." "Thank you, sir." Everyone gathered in the small room. I stood at the front, notes in hand, feeling like I was about to give the most important presentation of my life. "Thank you all for coming," I began. "I know the past few weeks have been chaotic and painful. I wanted to bring everyone together to explain what's been happening and where things stand now." I walked them through everything: the accident, the discovery of the affair, the credit card fraud. I showed documents, photos, timeline. I explained Ava's connection to me, her arrest for embezzlement, her apparent revenge plot. Lily's mother gasped. "Ava did this?" "The police believe so. They're building a case against her and Trevor Morrison for conspiracy to commit fraud." I turned to Lily, who was crying quietly. Lily made mistakes. She had an affair. She spent money recklessly. She hurt me deeply. But I believe she was also manipulated by someone she trusted. "That doesn't excuse what she did," her father said firmly. "No, it doesn't, which is why I'm filing for divorce. Our marriage is over. But I wanted everyone here to understand the full picture before we move forward." Patricia Brooks stood up. "Mr. Garrett has asked me to handle the divorce proceedings. Given the circumstances, we're pursuing a fault-based divorce with a request for Lily to assume responsibility for the fraudulent debts." Lily's mother started to protest, but her father stopped her. "That's fair," he said. Karen Walsh had been recording quietly. Now she spoke up. "Mr. Garrett, what do you want people to take away from this?" "That actions have consequences. That the truth matters, and that you can't build a life on lies and expect it to stand." The meeting ended an hour later. People filed out quietly. Lily approached me as I was packing up my notes. "Thank you," she said, softly. "For what?" "For not completely destroying me. You could have. After everything I did, you had every right to." "I didn't want to destroy you, Lily. I just wanted the truth to come out. I'm going to therapy. My parents are helping me get back on my feet. I'm going to try to be better." "Good, you should." She hesitated, then said, "I heard Ava's been arrested." I looked up sharply. "What?" "This morning. The police showed up at her apartment. It's all over social media." I pulled out my phone and checked. Sure enough, there were posts about Ava Morrison being taken into custody, photos of her being led out in handcuffs. Trevor Morrison had been arrested too, apparently trying to flee the state. It was over. Really over. "I hope you find happiness, Ben," Lily said. "Real happiness, not the fake kind I was chasing." "You too, Lily." She left, and I stood alone in the empty event space, feeling lighter than I had in months. The next few weeks were a blur of legal proceedings, paperwork, and media attention. The story had taken on a life of its own. "Local man exposes wife's affair and friend's revenge plot" was the headline that kept appearing. Ava and Trevor were both charged with multiple counts of fraud and conspiracy. Their trial was set for 6 months out, but the evidence was overwhelming. Their lawyers were already talking about plea deals. Lily and I went through mediation for the divorce. It was civil, almost friendly. She agreed to take responsibility for half the fraudulent debts, and her parents helped her set up a payment plan. She'd lost her job at the hospital, but she'd found work at a clinic in a neighboring town, away from the spotlight. As for me, I threw myself into work and training. Gary gave me a promotion, assistant project manager, with a raise. Murphy started teaching me advanced techniques at the gym, said I had potential as a fighter if I wanted to pursue it. I didn't know if I wanted to pursue it, but I liked having the option. Jake took me out for drinks one Friday night, about 2 months after everything had exploded. "You did it," he said, raising his beer. "You survived." "Barely. More than barely. You took a nightmare situation and came out on top. That takes guts." Or stupidity. Sometimes they're the same thing. He clinked his bottle against mine. "So what's next? You going to start dating again?" "God, no. I need about 5 years before I'm ready for that." "Fair enough. But when you are ready, let me set you up with my cousin. She's..." "Jake. Just saying. She's cute, she's got a good job, and she doesn't have Instagram." I laughed despite myself. "No Instagram? Not even Facebook. She's like a unicorn." "I'll keep it in mind." 3 months after the brunch confrontation, I attended Ava's plea hearing. She'd taken a deal: 5 years probation, restitution for the fraud, and a permanent criminal record. Trevor got a similar deal. Ava looked smaller in the courtroom, less polished. Her influencer persona had been stripped away, leaving just a bitter woman who'd let revenge consume her life. When it was over, I walked out of the courthouse into bright sunshine. Detective Mitchell was waiting on the steps. "How do you feel?" she asked. "Honestly, relieved. It's finally done." "You did good, Ben. A lot of people would have handled this differently. Worse." "I had good advice." I thought of Murphy, of Jake, of Rachel, and I got lucky. Luck had nothing to do with it. You were smart, methodical, and you kept your cool. That's why you won. Won. It didn't feel like winning. My marriage was over, my savings were depleted, and I'd been through hell. But I was still standing, and that counted for something. 6 months after everything started, I was at the gym when Murphy called me over. "Got something for you?" he said, handing me a flyer. It was for an amateur MMA tournament, 3 months out. "You think I'm ready?" I asked. "I think you've been ready for a while. You just needed a reason to step into the ring." I looked at the flyer, at the date and location. A real fight, with rules and referees and an audience. Not a metaphorical battle, but an actual physical test. "I'll think about it," I said. "Don't think too long. Registration closes next week." That night I sat in my apartment, still the same apartment, though I'd redecorated, made it mine, and thought about everything that had happened. The betrayal, the investigation, the public confrontation, the legal battle. I'd been through a war, and I'd survived. But surviving wasn't enough. I wanted to thrive. I pulled out my phone and texted Murphy, "Sign me up for the tournament." His response came immediately: "Hell yeah! Let's get to work." Training for the tournament consumed my life in the best possible way. Every morning before work, I was at the gym. Every evening after work, I was at the gym. Murphy pushed me harder than I'd ever been pushed, and I loved it. "You're not fighting for revenge anymore," he told me one day, holding pads while I threw combinations. "You're fighting for yourself. Remember that." The divorce was finalized 8 weeks before the tournament. Lily and I signed the papers in a lawyer's office. No drama, no tears. Just two people acknowledging that their marriage was over. "Good luck with the fight," she said as we left. "Thanks. Good luck with everything." We went our separate ways, and I felt nothing but relief. The tournament was held at the Civic Center downtown, the same venue where I'd gone to concerts and comedy shows over the years. Now I was backstage, wrapping my hands, trying to control my breathing. Jake was there, and Murphy and Gary from work. Even Rachel showed up, grinning. "Wouldn't miss this," she said. "You're going to do great." My first fight was against a guy named Marcus, younger than me, more experienced, but cocky. Murphy had watched his previous fights and developed a strategy. Let him tire himself out, then take him down in the second round. The bell rang. Marcus came at me hard, throwing wild punches. I blocked, dodged, kept my distance. My ribs, fully healed now, held up perfectly. My hand, the one that had been pinned back together, felt strong. End of the first round. Murphy wiped my face with a towel. "Perfect! You're doing perfect! Now finish him!" Second round. Marcus was slower now, breathing hard. I saw my opening and took it, a jab to set him up, then a hard right cross that caught him on the jaw. He stumbled. I moved in, took him to the ground, got him in a rear naked choke. He tapped out. The referee raised my hand. The crowd cheered. I looked up into the stands and saw Jake and Gary on their feet, screaming. I'd won. I won my second fight too and my third. Made it to the semifinals before losing to a guy who'd been fighting for 5 years. But I didn't care. I'd proven something to myself, that I could take a hit and keep going, that I could fight back and win. After the tournament, Murphy took me out for beers. "You did good, kid. Real good." I lost in the semis. "You won the fights that mattered, the ones against yourself." We drank in comfortable silence for a while. Then Murphy said, "So, what's next?" "What do you mean?" "You've got your life back. You've got your strength back. What are you going to do with it?" I thought about it. For the first time in years, I had options. I could keep fighting, maybe go pro. I could focus on work, climb the ladder at Gary's company. I could travel, date, start over completely. "I don't know yet," I said. "But I'm excited to figure it out." That's the right answer. A week after the tournament, I was at the gym when a woman approached me. Mid-30s, athletic build, confident smile. "You're Ben Garrett, right? I saw you fight last week." "That's me. Did I win or lose against you in your head?" She laughed. "You won." "I'm Sarah. I train here sometimes, but I think we're on different schedules." "Nice to meet you, Sarah. Listen, this is probably forward, but would you want to grab coffee sometime? I promise I don't have Instagram." I laughed, remembering Jake's joke about his cousin. "No Instagram? That's a pretty high bar." "I know. I'm basically a unicorn." "Coffee. Sounds great." We exchanged numbers. As she walked away, Murphy appeared beside me, grinning. "Look at you. Getting back out there. It's just coffee. It's never just coffee." Maybe he was right. Maybe it was the start of something new. Or maybe it was just coffee with an interesting woman. Either way, I was ready for it. That night, I stood on my apartment balcony, looking out over the city. The same city where everything had fallen apart 6 months ago. But it looked different now. Brighter. Full of possibility. My phone buzzed. A text from Jake. "Saw you talking to that woman at the gym. She's cute. Don't screw it up." I texted back, "It's just coffee." "Sure it is. Proud of you, man. You earned this." I put my phone away and just stood there, breathing in the cool night air. I thought about everything that had happened. The betrayal, the investigation, the public confrontation, the divorce, the fights. All of it had led me here, to this moment, to this version of myself. I wasn't the same person who'd woken up in that hospital room 6 months ago. That person had been broken, humiliated, lost. This person was stronger, wiser, more certain of who he was and what he deserved. Lily had wanted to live her best life. Well, now I was living mine, and it felt damn good. Epilogue. The final word. 3 months later, I was at Riverside Bistro, the same restaurant where I'd confronted Lily at the charity brunch. But this time, I was there for a celebration. Gary's construction company had just landed the biggest contract in its history, and I'd been promoted to project manager. The whole crew was there, along with friends and family. Sarah was there too. We'd been dating for 2 months, taking it slow, but it felt right. She was real in a way Lily had never been. Honest, grounded, present. "This place has history for you, doesn't it?" she asked, looking around. "You could say that?" "Good history or bad history?" "Both, but I'm making new history now." She smiled and squeezed my hand. Across the restaurant, I saw someone familiar. Lily, working as a server. She saw me too, and for a moment, we just looked at each other. Then she smiled, a genuine smile, not the Instagram kind, and gave me a small wave. I waved back. She looked better, healthier, more like the person I'd married years ago, before everything got complicated. "Is that her?" Sarah asked quietly. "Yeah." "You okay?" "Yeah, I really am." And I was. The anger was gone. The bitterness had faded. What remained was just a chapter in my story. An important one. A painful one. But a chapter nonetheless. The party went late into the night. At one point, Murphy pulled me aside. "You know what I'm most proud of?" he said. "What?" "You could have let this destroy you. Instead, you let it remake you. That takes real strength. I had good teachers. We just showed you the path. You walked it yourself." As the party wound down, I stood outside the restaurant, waiting for Sarah to finish saying goodbye to people. The city stretched out before me, familiar and new at the same time. My phone buzzed, an email from my lawyer. The divorce settlement was fully executed, all debts resolved. It was officially over. I deleted the email and put my phone away. Sarah came out, slipping her hand into mine. "Ready to go?" "Yeah. Let's go home." We walked to my truck, a newer model paid for with my promotion bonus. As I started the engine, I caught my reflection in the rearview mirror. The face looking back was older, scarred by experience, but stronger for it. I'd been betrayed, humiliated, and nearly destroyed. But I'd fought back, not with violence or revenge, but with truth and perseverance. I'd exposed the lies, faced the consequences, and rebuilt my life from the ground up. Lily had wanted to live her best life. In trying to do so, she'd lost everything that mattered. But me? I'd found something better than revenge. I'd found myself. And I was living my best life, the real kind, built on truth and strength and genuine connection. As we drove through the city streets, Sarah asked, "What are you thinking about?" How far I've come. And how far I still want to go. She smiled. I liked the sound of that. So did I. The past was behind me. The future was wide open, and for the first time in years, I was exactly where I wanted to be. Living my best life. For real this time.